We be live. We be
We
live. We be
live.
live. So, evening and all guys, here with iGen Entrepreneur's head coach, Mr. McCaffrey. How are you, Mr. McCaffrey? How are you, sir?
You know what? If I stop and think about it, I'm probably tired, but I'm not going to think about it, and therefore I'm all right. I had a super productive day. Got up this morning and just paid bills and claimed back money all day long. I have solar panels, so I got a final reminder that they're like, please tell us your meter readings so we can actually pay you for them. And I'm like, okay. Then paid my electric bill, then paid two wholesalers. And then I had a whole load of drama with my purchasing manager because we were scrambling to get an item, which we'll talk about a wee bit later on, and went out into the warehouse because I was going to sort out an order and then realised I had like 20 minutes to be in Armagh to get my wedding suit. So like scratch that back into the van. So honestly, if it hadn't been for the guy in the warehouse today, I'd have got no stock out. Instead, I'd have got like 500 units out the door and still managed to spend 20 grand and get my suit sorted for the wedding. So been really productive, but also tired because I'm running around like a blue arse fly, as my
Awesome.
mother would say.
So, well, you spent 20K as well. What was that on?
It's very easily equally balanced. So 7.5 went on toys. It was meant to be 10, but I took too long putting the order in, and 3.5 of it disappeared. Um, just shy of 7.5 was on replenishable items that I do that are cosmetics, toiletries, household cleaning, wholesale stuff. And the rest, the other 3.5 or so, was on Christmas related items that was OA. So,
Cool.
and then quite a
So,
nervous phone call to the bank manager going, big lad, throw me 40K. And he's like, I'll have a think about it. Because like maybe I was a wee bit too bullish today, so maybe I shouldn't have went just so aggressive. But it's Q4, baby.
it's
Q4,
also,
don't wait.
we haven't planned this. It's also the year of the bull that came with
A
a
Lego
Lego order.
order. Yeah, I sold it, mine. You kept it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a choice because Sarah opened the box and yeah, did it herself. So, year of the bull. So time to get bullish. It's kind of why I'm gonna pull this live with Eamonn Mccaffrey. So kind of what I wanted to talk about is just basically what we're doing for clients for Q4 and what we're doing this evening straight out after this live. So cover that in a moment. If anyone has any questions or anything like that, drop a few questions. We've got 13 people watching, so thank you for logging in. Let's have a look who's there. So let me just go on to Facebook. Yeah, so in terms of today, today's been pretty interesting. I was up pretty early having one-to-ones with each one of my team. Yeah, and a lot of work done this afternoon, but just kind of reflecting on kind of this time. If you think this time last year, Eamon, like um, I had two BAs and now I'm up to a team of seven. So it's like, yeah, Q4 can really
Make or
just
break you.
change. Yeah, I would say it really is kind of a
Well,
really important time of year. So yeah, this was kind of a bit of a call to arms type live that I wanted to do and kind of just get people talking a little bit about Q4 and things like that. Um, we were talking before, and there are issues at the moment, even just ordering. I ordered some stuff from IKEA, and I've just had an email come through to basically say we don't have any more of this in stock. We whistle for you there, Eamon. Um, so yeah, there's kind of stock shortages already at the start of October. I know that's IKEA, but if you extrapolate that across all the different other suppliers, then there are going to be challenges like that. What are your thoughts, Eamon?
I just wanted to tag Rushing in this. I don't know if Rushing's watching, but I just wanted to tag her and be like, hey, Lloyd's stealing your stock. Um, yeah, I there's a couple of things I want to touch on there. Like you were saying about in the last year, I had photographs come up on like Google Calendar or something where it was like this day last year, and it was the warehouse, and it was completely bare. Like I sent you the photograph, and
Yeah.
it was like before and after. So last year it was bare shelving that I bought out of Mothercare last January when it was going bust. And this year it's literally I'm having to bring in a joiner to brace the shelving to the walls because while it's freestanding, I have that much stuff on it that they're starting to bow a bit, and I'm like, that's not safe. And that's in 1 year. And it's crazy. Like I'm already starting to look for bigger warehouses simply because of the way that I'm buying stuff. Um, on the flip side of that, I'm being a wee bit more aggressive in pricing just to try and keep stuff moving because stock sitting in the shed on a balance sheet for HMRC counts as profits, but in your back pocket, it doesn't count for much. But yeah, I'm starting to notice stock shortages already. I don't want to be trying to incur panic buying or any nonsense like that there. I leave that up to the Tory government. But there is going to be an interesting dynamic this year. I watched a TikTok yesterday and it was an onion farmer. And they were saying, we have contracts and we have to honour the price in those contracts, but they're now up and we will be raising our prices accordingly because our cost of labour has went up. They said, if you're in a position now to be buying food to stock it, there's not going to be a shortage of food, but you are going to notice a considerable increase. So if you want to save yourself maybe 10, 20 quid a week, buy canned food now. I had a sales rep here this afternoon and he was showing me a hair gel that I had previously purchased. All in cost price for me was $4.50. He said that come January, that's going to be going up north of £6, £6.50 more like. And I was like, why? And he's like, the brands is putting the cost on us. So the manufacturer, he says, we obviously have to push that on. So what I was able to do was to put in a back order to come last week of December at current prices so that I'll have plenty of stock when everybody else is hit with the bigger price hike. And the wise person now is going to be trying to play those games if you've got the cash to do it. And it's a tight time of year to be putting the cash in, but there's so much dynamics going on at the minute. It's going to be crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that's their star in there looking for golden nuggets, I mean, if that's not a golden nugget, I don't know what is. If you've got capital leverage that, then go for it because, yeah, we were across at the autumn fair and a lot of suppliers were basically saying, yeah, we're holding off on our prices, but prices will be good up in January time. So kind of what I took from that is just to get super aggressive and just super proactive since then. Pretty much working nonstop on that. I know Eamonn's been pretty aggressive on things. So yeah, if you're not thinking about, I know everyone's thinking about Q4, but you need to be taking action at the moment. So
tell you what, I'm going to cut across you there. Like you were saying about what we can do for people. Like I'm obviously doing that Q4 live intensive training. We were sitting on a call on Tuesday night and we were sitting looking at a very seasonable confectionery item is all I'm going to say about it because I know a couple of them purchased into it. And we sat down, we analysed it together and I went on to keep it. It's been selling for 2,500 odd days, so back to 2016 or even further. And you were able to just take a ruler and look at the inflation price of it every year. This was an item that 2 years ago I purchased in Londonderry in Tesco's for £3. And it is now the cheapest I can find it is about £4, £5. And the price is reflected now on Amazon for that simply because inflation's a natural thing within any economy, but it's being elevated a lot more now. And on the back of that again, I had one of the clients today message me about an item they were looking to source. I took a quick look at it and told them to avoid it like the plague. And then I happened to be in the warehouse at the time and I took a photograph of one of the shelves where I was getting similar items from that supplier. And I was like, here's all my deals. Fill your boots. So that helped their sourcing a wee bit this afternoon. I literally just sent their photographs of all my stock from that supplier.
Fair play to you. I must have missed that memo, did I?
Different private group, lad. You're not in this one.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so in terms of what we're doing this evening, Eamon takes all the coaching now at iGen. In fact, we are genuinely having some real success. Stephen, Zibo, they're all posting their sales figures and things over the last few months. I'm really kind of, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where Stephen gets to at the end of Q4. He's basically tripling each month at the moment. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how that goes. Just to give a bit of a spoiler, we are, and I'm going to be announcing it probably the back end of this week, we are going to be having a meetup, Christmas Do, in December 17th. And between, well, for our clients that we're setting goals for, there will be prizes given out as well. So what that's going to look like, we'll review that a little bit closer to the time, but it will be based on goals and targets. So yeah, really looking forward to that. What we're going to be doing as well, basically, normally with calls, with all calls, they are qualified. So I'm going to drop a link to get a call booked in. So if you are currently selling or you're just starting off and you really want to make the most of the next 3 months, you can get yourself booked in on strategy call, sit down with you, work out targets and things like that, and then basically explain how we do this for clients and the support we're able to give you guys, because the next 3 months are going to be bonkers, absolutely bonkers. I've set targets for Q4. I'm going to be sharing them in our mastermind group later on, what they look like, how I got to that, how I basically worked out the cash I had available to me with credit and liquid cash, and set basically an aggressive but kind of achievable target at the same time. So that's what we're going to be doing later on. All the training Eamon, it's recorded as well. So yeah, for clients that can't make it tonight, they'll be able to watch that back. And yeah, we're going to be basically setting goals, holding people accountable, and just basically, yeah, really just taking where people are at the moment to just a new level. So I do find that kind of your business kind of upgrades every Q4, and it really does just make such a big difference, because all the work that I put in so far this year has kind of been leading up to this last quarter. I've got a team of 7 now, and yeah, it's all kind of set up. Systems are there, paperwork systems are there, and yeah, just really looking forward to the next few months. What are your
Interesting.
thoughts?
Sorry, I've just had somebody that I've like 16 mutual friends with add me on Facebook. So I thought, right, if somebody wants to speak to me and it's somebody that's going, hey, we can get negative views removed and we can manipulate this and we can get you leads. And I'm saying, going, I kind of like my Amazon account, so that's going to be a strong no. But it's interesting how many mutual friends we have. Thinking back on where I've come and where I am now and where I'm trying to get to, I'm quite jealous of some of our clients. And I'm not going to sit in here and say about how great and amazing I am, but you look at some of the ones we've got. So Russell, Andy, I'm going to say Michelle. I know she's lazy, but hey ho. And you think of what they've achieved in such a short space of time. I didn't achieve that. Like I've been slow born and then rocket sort of shot up. But I had to start. I had a completely sort of, I'll throw a couple £100 at this. Sure, it'll never really amount to much, whatever. I'll not pay for training and coaching because, sure, who could train me anything? I know everything. I'm a big fella. And I'm not going to pay that money into that. I'll just figure it out myself. And I did. And it took me years. And now we have clients that, yes, they're paying large amounts of money in some cases, but the results they're seeing is incredible. And I sometimes, it's like the sort of thing where, like, you see it all the time on social media. If you had bought Bitcoin on January 3rd, 2021, you'd have got it for a fiver. And you're sitting going, and now you'd be a gazillionaire, but you didn't. But it's the same with me in the coaching. If on day one I'd have sat down and thought, right, this is going to change my life, I'm going to put a couple of grand into this, I'm going to get coaching, and I'm going to take this as a serious career investment, I'd be absolutely minted right now. At the minute, I'm only just minted, but I'd be absolutely minted if I'd have done it back then. It's just crazy the way some
Well,
people commit to it and just.
yeah, there's kind of there's two schools of thought to it. So at the start, I didn't take any direction either. Well, the course that I started with was private label, did it for a year and a half, got
How'd that work out?
nowhere, literally nowhere. It was launching a private label product in Germany, in German, obviously. So all your keyword research was in German. I was doing like 55, 60-hour weeks in marketing. My head was pickled by the time I got home. So didn't get making excuses. But so there's two kind of schools of thought. Is like, sure, all the information you need to do this is on YouTube for free.
Did you watch it?
Well, let me put it to you this way. So we just had not just had the Olympics. It was the Summer Olympics there in Tokyo during the summer. So watched a bit of it, and what really struck me was the amount of people that said after they won a medal, "Oh yeah, I just watch YouTube videos, learned this all myself. No one taught me how to do this. I didn't have a coach. I just picked it up from YouTube. Every single person that performs at a high level has support, whether it's the Olympics, whether it's run a business, anything. You're not meant to do this on your own."
Can I point out the exception to that rule?
Go on then.
Eddie the Eagle. He just rocked up, done it. Okay, he literally did faceplant, but he had a great spirit in him.
Did I?
At least he entertained people as he failed. They actually changed the rules of the Olympics after that one to stop people being able to do that again. You now have to be in the top percentile within your chosen sport to even qualify.
Well, there you go. Yeah. It's interesting how many people who actually succeed. Everyone has a team. Everyone has support. Pretty much anyone who is achieving kind of multiple six figures, seven figures has taken support. I would be interested in, talk about Thomas Parkinson, massive seller, and he's been on the Anthony Robbins mastermind. He's had support from them. So anyone who's kind of pushing big numbers will have had some sort of support. Obviously, there are exceptions, but generally, if you want to kind of shortcut that development, you're not going to find that information on YouTube, and you're certainly not going to get one-to-one coaching or live coaching every Wednesday night.
Well, put it like this: that person that sent me a voice note on Facebook earlier, and I sent back photographs of the items that I had sourced from that supplier. I don't do that for just anybody. Like, you didn't get that photograph. Very few people got it. I'm selective about who I tell specific information to. There are bits of information that I know I have told a grand total of one client. And that is simply because, I'm not just going to. There's things that I have learned that it's taken me maybe 5 or 6 hours sitting at a computer. There's lessons that I've learned that have cost me hundreds of pounds. There's lessons that I've learned that have cost me thousands. And you're not just going to give that away for free. And yes, what you can get on YouTube is great, but you're not going to message YouTuber and go, "Hey, what's this?" They're going to go, "Oh yeah, here's my affiliate link. This is the best product going." Whereas I don't bother with that. I think people know that I'm straight talking when I say what I say. Probably too much so to a fault at times, but I say what I think.
Yeah. I mean, guys, if there's a few people watching, we've got 16 people watching at the moment. So thank you for joining us. Hope that this is entertaining and useful. If you guys have any questions about support we offer, Q4, life in general, drop a question and we'll get around to answering them at the kind of second half of this live. So yeah, really kind of interesting to see how clients are going to progress over Q4, what that's going to look like, and yeah, I mean, if we talk about Zebo as well, yeah, he's up kind of, well, he's based in Germany, so I think it's like 25,000 euros a month type level from basically standing start March time. So yeah, really, really kind of powerful. Lads, who's that? Lads, so we can all penny under, please. Yeah, well, there's penny under pricing. Lads, oh, leads, so we can all penny under, please. Hi, Andre. Yeah, I think the way stock is kind of already having issues. Anyone that's kind of penny underpricing at the moment, I think, is asking for trouble. Sorry, leads from IKEA. So I'm reading this on another screen, so there's a bit of a delay.
I don't think there will be that much of an issue. And I think it's quite funny that Andre has put that message up because that's who I was chatting about before we went live. He posted a comment today on a story, and I nearly crashed the van as I was driving it, reading it. Reading it was just so perfect. He was like, "You're never going to hit a target you're not aiming for," and I was like, "That so sums up my mindset at the moment." Because to say, "Oh, well, sure, I just want to make more." Like I spoke to somebody at the NEC and was like, "So what's your target for Q4?" And I goes to sell. They said to sell more than last year, and I go, "So if you did a 5 or more in turnover, would you be happy?" And they're like, "No." I goes, "But by your definition, that's more." And they're like, no, I want to do 20, 30,000 more. And I'm like, well, that's a wee bit more of a strategic goal. Luke put up a post a while back where, what did he said his team last year, what, $250,000, and they were like 500 grand shy of it or something. And he's like, it's no coincidence. I have set a goal. It is quite substantial. I said it and I was sitting going, I don't even think of the cash flow to hit that, but I'm going to set it anyway. I've told my team that if we hit that, I will double their 13th month. So on top of their 13th month, I will double it. And you know what? It was a good way to motivate them. They're already highly motivated and highly committed, but it got their attention because they're not sitting at the back of the mind going, well, why should we bust ourselves for the 13th month? We're going to get it anyway. But now they're like, right, we've got a very real reward coming here and we're going to share in the profits of this organization. And we've already started talking to a couple of them about coming over to Ireland. Don't know if I can then cover their wages at that level if they come and move here, but we'll make it work. But I'm very much of the opinion that, share the wealth and it'll be returned to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually quite humbling having one-to-ones this morning. So yeah, I'm not going to disclose any kind of sensitive information or anything like that. But yeah, it was well, it was actually quite emotional actually. So yeah, there's obviously big sales figures that you'll see. It's obviously the big sales figures that you'll see, but there's also impact as well as income. So, what I really like about this business is that I can impact not just me, but also people in the Philippines as well. So it's really kind of powerful that. And yeah, I think with so, nice comment there. So yeah, I think really with working hard and having clearly defined targets and working towards those goals, it's really important that you have that. But as well as that, the impact that you can provide as well is is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe I'm a soft touch, but like my purchasing manager turned around the other day after a meeting and she goes, "Hey, do you notice the audio quality anyway improved?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I did notice that. I just thought it was me." And she's like, "No, I went and bought a new mic over the weekend." And I was like, "Cool. How much was that?" And she's like, "Not telling you." Because she knew I would just add that into our wages at the end of the month. And she was like, "No, but that's for me." And I'm like, "But it's quite evidently for work use. So I'll cover it." And within the difference, you can have a massive impact for a very small amount of effort. And like last year on her birthday, I sent her additional money to go. She wanted a really nice stationery set, and I was like, "Have at it." As my father has joked, was a joke with the Jag so many times that my purchasing manager runs my business, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have anything. And I'm like, exactly. I the new guy that I started in the warehouse a couple of weeks back came in this morning and I goes, "Right, Phelim, new task for you today." And he goes, "What's that?" And I goes, "Today you figure out what has to go out yourself." And he's, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not telling you what I want put out today. Figure it out." And that was at 9 o'clock. I came home, had a shower, had breakfast, did a bit of work on the computer, and then walked back into the shed about 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. And he had boxes open, they had went through stuff, and he's like, "Right, we need them." And what really got me was there was an item that we prepped 2 weeks ago, and he had 4 cases of it on the floor, and I'm like, "Where are you going with that?" And he's like, "You're out of stock." Where in my mind, I wouldn't have even been looking at that because I thought I had loads of stock in because I prepped a whole lot of it 2 weeks ago, but it sold that well, we were out. And so on the way down the road this evening with my dad, I was sitting saying about, how buzzing it was. And he's like, "Why sure you didn't get all that amount out today?" I'm like, "Yeah, but he can now walk
Big
in.
step. It's a big step
He
forward.
knows what needs to go out. It's getting put out the door. He's on WhatsApp with my admin manager and my purchasing manager, coordinating it all. Sent them through a photograph of toothpaste and goes, "Hey, I can't find a SKU for this." And they sorted it all out. And I did nothing. I was able to sit in the house today, sort out bigger picture issues with wholesale orders, sort out stuff for the wedding, try and get stuff sorted for the house. And it's great. I said this on the coaching call on Tuesday night where it was like, what was the 4 things I even pointed out? I'm not even going to share them all, but one of them was the mindset and time, time management. If you can outsource, delegate, or offset an item, it should usually pay for itself because if you're getting somebody else to do it, it's still getting done. Plus, you're then being productive in another item. And one of the biggest things you can do is say no and be protective of your time. I think too many people think that they are in this alone and that they have to be doing everything themselves. And I was very much that mindset. Nobody could possibly prep for me. They wouldn't know what's in the boxes. They wouldn't know what they're doing. Phelim figured out that if you want to know what's in the boxes, you open up and you look, and then you know what's in them. So like, it works. Once I was too much control freak. It's my baby. I built it up. It's my money. It's my debt. Leave it alone. Let me do it. And all you're ever going to have is a self-employed job, and that is much different to much different to having a business. I can now go away on honeymoon in a week, 2 weeks time, and I have stock that's teed up to come. I have staff here to receive it. I have staff in the Philippines working through it all. I'll be able to just turn off notifications in WhatsApp and lie back, and the money's still going to be coming in. Now, that is not an overnight thing, and that is not something that I could have possibly have done a year, 18 months ago, but with the right things in place. And since I started coaching, it's been quite interesting because you have 2 options. You can either try and demand the lead, or you can be called the lead. And by that, from what I take of it, is you can either be trying to put up big false numbers and go and look at me, or you can make damn sure that as a leader, you're doing the sort of numbers that people aspire to do. And it's really put a pressure on me to get a lot sharper in what I'm doing. And my fiance commented the other day, she was like, I've noticed you a lot more productive, but a lot less stressed. She goes, you seem, whatever you're doing, keep at it, because you're seeming to be able to get more done, but you're a lot less calm about it. And it's down to one thing, and it's so bloody simple. Do you know what it is?
I have a vague idea. Does anyone else have an idea what it is? If you want to drop a comment.
One thing.
One
As
thing.
Curly said, it's just that one thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. There's a great book. It's called E-Myth: Why Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About it. So basically, it's a great book, and I'm probably going to misquote it, but whenever people start a business, they generally start it as a technician. So there's kind of three roles. You've got technician, manager, and then an entrepreneur or visionary. So, like, if you think about the self-employed plumber, he's maybe been working for a plumber for however many a year, and he thinks to himself, right, I can do this on my own. So he goes out on his own, and he's a plumber, but then he needs to be able to manage things, VAT, marketing, and all that type of stuff. So he then needs to learn how to be a manager. And then you also need to learn how to kind of guide the business as well. So there's a lot to it. And anything like that, when you're dealing with other people, I think it's a great quote from, I think it's Gary Vee, but I could be wrong. I was listening to Gary Vee ages ago, or someone like that. And basically, he was asked something like, so with all the things that you need to do in a business, to do them for the first time, it's obviously very uncomfortable, and you need to move outside of your comfort zone. So how do you actually move outside of your comfort zone when it's really uncomfortable? And his answer was brilliant. It was about basically surrounding yourself with positivity and people who have already been through that process. So I mean, I hired Charmy start of last year, and I thought, God, I'm hiring someone, don't really know what I'm doing half the time myself. So what am I doing hiring someone? And then hired Cynthia, September, then Faith, then Rasheen, then Mikey and Joanne. And it's just like, once you go through that once you kind of break through that scene, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But there's still mistakes that I made. And yeah, if you can kind of leverage what everyone else, the mistakes other people have made, it just makes it a lot easier, and you get there in a much faster time. And I know you're going to cut across me shortly, but I remember kind of speaking to Donal about hiring a VA, and I was kind of very, very kind of laid back about it, and he kind of said, listen, it's up to you. If it's something you want to do, go for it. If not, if you're happy doing everything yourself, it's fine. Things business, it can, the beauty with an Amazon business, it can literally be whatever you want it to be. It can be £300-400 a month, and it pays for your electricity bill or whatever it is, or you can build a team and do all that. And I don't know what he would say, but he certainly kind of put it off for a while, and he's now hired a VA, and Eamonn, he's loving it, absolutely loving it.
Donald's a curious one. Like, I don't know if it's since I called him on it one day, and I said, hey, I've noticed a big change in you since you got engaged. You've become a lot more focused in your business. It's a correlation. He's like, nope. But yeah, his model is completely different to what I do. I couldn't do his. I simply don't have the knowledge and skills that he does. But his margins is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's cool. So
let's go back to that. There's me rambling on. So
it's all right. You were let a couple of comments come in. So LTP is stumped. Now he's lying on a beach in Cancun or somewhere. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. A couple of people came close to it. Andre, no, it's not smart goals. Darren, I'd say, is the closest to it with positivity, but that's too much of a cop out, just that one word. I read a quote recently, and it was like, most people have a long term mindset to a short term problem. And people, like, I've been doing coaching calls where people are like, oh, I don't want to crash the price. And they've got maybe 10 units, and the buy box is 5p below their item. And I'm like, so you paid 3 months storage fees to try and save 50p? Doesn't make sense. And I try and look at the bigger picture. You know, is this going to bother me in a year's time? Is this going to be something I'm going to be thinking about in 5 years' time? And Thomas is correct me to say that he's in Florida, not Cancun. I'm sorry. I don't think Interpol can even keep up where he is, so I don't know how he expects me to do it and run a business. But I have just got it in my head, like, there's a fake it till you make it nonsense, and it's not really nonsense. It's a good mindset. But I just got this ego behind me recently that I know that I can do this, and I genuinely 100% believe it. And I'm now getting a lot more systematic. I was watching a thing last night on what it was called, like, the flow process, and pretty much what they were saying, it was fully submerge yourself in a task, turn the phone off. If you are doing an activity, have no notifications turned on, and just be really productive for a set period of time. You know, you'll always fill a vessel with the amount of water you need. Like, if you give yourself 2 weeks to do an assignment, it'll take 2 weeks. If you give yourself,
you know what that theory is called? Parkinson's theory. And we've got TC.
It is. He's calling it deep work. No, it's flow. No, but anyway, just recently I've been like, I know I can make this work.
Yeah, so there is deep work, but there's also something called flow state. So basically, when you have a clearly defined, what's the right word? Clearly defined task, and you get into a rhythm, and you get into a flow. It's all about that.
It works.
It's a little bit. I mean, it does actually explain. I mean, there's a lot about prep and outsourcing prep, but some people really like prep and like doing it themselves. And the reason being, there's obviously, you've got something to show for your work, but as well as that, if you get into flow, whether it's prep, whether it's like a task that's very kind of rhythmical rhythmical, it soothes your brainstem, and it's really quite soothing to actually get into work like that. And you'll know when you're in flow state. You'll literally know that. And it's a little bit like footballer or any kind of athlete. Whenever you go for a run, you'll know when you're in flow state. And I know Eamonn's cycling. You'll know when you're in flow state. So there is that too as well.
One of the best races I ever done was a 10-mile road race running in Armagh, and I wasn't caring about ranking or anything like that there. I just wanted to try and keep a very stable tempo. And I got 6 miles in, and I hadn't been any more than 2 seconds off a 7-minute mile for each of those 6 miles. But I'm starting to, feel the burn, starting to get stressed out. I ran the last 4 miles with my eyes closed. I just closed my eyes, opened them every 20 seconds to make sure I wasn't about to run into a ditch. And I was pacing the girl in front of me who was like a national champion. Now, I didn't catch her, but I kept the same sort of pace. And yeah, but it was all because I was just very focused on what I was doing. And I've noticed recently I'm still a lot of work to do on flow state and stuff like that. But the confidence that I now have that I know what I'm doing, that I'm looking at different things, and like the sales rep came today and I looked at a pallet and I was like, right, I'll take a pallet now and back order me one for December so that I can manage the warehouse. Getting a lot tighter in pricing, a lot better systems of communication in place within the business, and looking at private label and different other options for next year. But I don't have that fear anymore. I genuinely feel invincible when it comes to some things within the business. And famous last words, because I'll probably get a notification, dear Mr. Mccaffrey, you've suspended your account, talk to you in February. But like,
touch wood, by the way, touch wood.
It's all right. I would literally click two toggles on the computer and flip over to option B and keep going because I've built reserves in that one as well. Because the only way to know what cards anybody's playing in a game of poker is to be the one dealing the cards. But yeah, mindset is massive. If at the back of your mind you're going, yeah, but don't do this, you're going to fail. You will fail. You will trip yourself up. If you walk out every day going, I can fucking do this, you will do it. And that takes a hell of a lot of work to get to. And that's one thing that I'm trying to build into some of the ones that I've been coaching.
I think it's Henry Ford, isn't it? Whether
Say
you
what?
believe you're right, whether you
Whether-
believe you're right,
When they believe you can or you can't, you are correct.
you're correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
So keep up in your reading. I had a client phone me a while back, and I'll not give too much away, and I'll not speak to them because they're quite a private individual. But they were talking on about what they achieved last year for Q4, what they wanted for this year, and they were struggling, and there was a lot of mindset and different issues going on there. And I got them to bring up their business reports for the last Q4, and I was like, right, which VAs did that? And they're like, no, don't have any. And they're like, right, and you outsource that? And they're like, no. And they're like, which family members were doing all this? And they're like, no. And I was like, you take a look at everything that's there, and there is categorical imperial evidence of what you have achieved. Not what you can achieve, not what sales predictors, if you put 5,000 in, you might get 10,000 back out and 2,000 profit. Like, was categorically, there is evidence that you can run this business. Have a little bit more faith and compassion in yourself and get on with it. And they've already come back to me. Like, the reply, I got an email from them the next day, and it choked me up because of how it changes their mindset. And really, it can either cripple you or build you up. It's one thing I would try and get across to as many people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of 95 mindset and 5% turning up, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, I used to work in education, and some of the principals that I know that are running the biggest schools are absolutely full of it. They are completely incompetent at doing their job, but they talk an absolute wonderful talk, and they have been able to escalate themselves to one of the pinnacles within education because they know what to say and when to say it, and they look good. And then they just farm out the work to other people that are a lot more competent but don't have the confidence. They do say, what is it? A grade students are report to B grade students to run businesses owned by C grade students or something. It was I read a thing a while back, and they're saying that, the ones that don't do that well in school end up being the ones that run the company because they're not going to do the work themselves. So they hire people that are really capable, but just don't have the confidence to go out on their own and set up their own business.
It's really interesting. I never said that. Genuinely, this isn't set up at all. Because hopefully you can tell this isn't scripted. But yeah, I was approached by my old school to do a talk on entrepreneurship in a few weeks' time. So I'm going to be doing that, and there's another school that's kind of. So it's kind of interesting to come full circle and do that. Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about walking into my old school.
Well, the last school I worked in, the principal was looking for somebody to come in and give a talk on mindset to a team of principals. And Ashley was saying, like, why didn't you put me forward to it? And she goes, I figured you'd be too busy to want to come in and lower yourself to actually come and like coach the principal that, was such a piece of work to you. And I was like, fair enough. But if they were paying me enough, I'd have done it. But again, they're talking about come back in to talk. A couple of the year 12s that would have known me, they're completely fascinated about the fact that I just walked away from a career with a pension and a permanent job to do Amazon. And they're like, in the last 2 years since I would have been teaching them, house is built, got a warehouse, got staff, got local staff. I met an old boss yesterday in town and beeped the horn, went down the window, was chatting with him, and he's like, I thought you had a big van. And I was like, that's the other one. And he was like, you're an absolute wheeler and dealer. So you're telling me you've now got 2 vans? And I'm like, well, one's going to be a camper, like. He's like, it baffles me how you make money, and I'm like, just happens. But
money in, money out.
Money in, money out. You know, Frank's right. I see there it's, I'm getting kudos from an ex-HOD, so that's always good. For those that don't know, young Claire in the comment section here was one of the most senior heads of department in the whole of the British Isles. And yeah, she walked away from it to set up a very successful Amazon business, and now has cornered the market in several categories.
She's got her own geography. Her own geography. No one else is allowed in or out.
True. Yeah. Let's stop with the inside jokes. Yeah, guys. I don't do the sales pushy stuff, which is why Luke had to remove me from the sales role, because I just went on the phone and helped people because I genuinely enjoy it. But Darren, I believe, commented above about what was the Tuesday night call. The Tuesday night call is the Q4 coaching program, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it. The results that I'm seeing with those 12 so far is fantastic. And yes, it's going to be great marketing down the line where it can show the results of what they've achieved and over the length of the course. But I can genuinely see the impact it's going to have in their lives ongoing. And one of the best things about Q4, it isn't the screenshots of look at the turnover I done today or look at the number of units I've sold. It's the fact that it's a chance to clear out the old stock that has been sort of lingering for the last couple of months. It's the opportunity to increase your margins by 2 to 3% net. And it's the opportunity that when you walk into January, you're sitting with a hefty purse that you can then roll the dice again for 2022. And
even saying that is mental. Yeah. 2022.
Sure, 3 years ago was the millennium, so I don't know how that happened. And it's only 30 years ago since the 70s, so I don't know. But yeah, it stands you in really good stead. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will items that, if I'd have waited another day, I could have got an extra fiber unit for it. Yeah. Don't think of the short-term issues. Think of the long-term goal, where you want to be. I think I'd be curious if we had Thomas on here talking about where he was 4 or 5 years ago and where he is now. Like, Thomas wasn't always a nomad bouncing from cocktail bar to salsa dancing. I think he once did have a real job somewhere. I wonder, did he ever think he'd be having the life he has now? He is it massively outsourced.
Crazy.
I don't want it to sound like a dig, but freedom can also be very lonely, but he makes it work very well. It's not what I would want. I'm very much culture and a homebird. I love traveling the world, but I love getting home. I built myself a house and my home. But there is the two sides of the same coin, where he's built a business where he can travel the world and do what he wants. I built a whole house and family, and looking at everything around here, both are achievable within Amazon. So Thomas is commenting there about how lonely it can be and stuff like that. But at the same time,
you've got the option.
If Thomas wanted to come back to England tomorrow and get himself a nice house somewhere, he could do it. But he's got the freedom to do what he wants to do, and it's fantastic, and it's really impressive to watch. Again, I went into Armagh today to get suits, seen a jacket, and I'll take that, and look at that. Sent a couple of photographs, sent them to you and Claire, and sent to Ashley and asked them how much was that. And I'm like, monies? One monies or two monies? I don't know, just monies. And I'm not that I'm by any means a bloody million or anything like that, but I can afford to go into the shop and go, I'll have that. There's a card, thanks. And that was something that I couldn't have done a couple of years ago. I had been sitting going, I can't afford that. What's your cheapest option? It's just mindset.
And you looked fantastic as well.
I did like the royal colours of it. Yeah. It's a bit like yours, only a little bit nicer. Imperial. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
well, yes,
guys,
I think we'll draw
a bit of
Nope, go on over. Over to you.
What I was going to say was there was a wee bit of a sales pitch into that tonight. But what I would say is if you're sitting on the fence about coaching, about VA training, I would say deal sheets, but we're struggling with that one at the moment. But yeah, we can help. Not we think we can help. We can help. We have the evidence there to show what we've done for other clients. Give Liam a shout. He is an incredibly positive individual. He thinks the sun shines out of certain parts of me that I can work wonders. But at the same time, I've seen the results that I've provided to other clients so far, and I know that I can provide the same to you in the right conditions. But again, it's not just a cure-all. It's not something like, I know we've had clients that showed up and say, hey, there's the money. And then the next month they're like, why have my sales not improved? You're like, have you watched the training? Have you showed up to sales calls or coaching calls? Have you put in the effort? And they're like, no, but I paid you money. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. We will double down on any work you do, but at the end of the day, it's your business. As anybody that's ever had a prep center will tell you, nobody are employed a prep center, nobody's going to take as much care of your stock as you. Nobody's going to run your business, wake up 2 a.m. in cold sweats wondering about your account as well as you do. And I've had that. I had an issue a couple of months back where my BS messaged me like, hey, we can't get anything to work on the account. The account seems to be frozen. 2 a.m, I get that WhatsApp within a minute. I had a laptop in front of me in the darkness in my bed going, what the hell is wrong here? 30 minutes later, all resolved, and I fell back to sleep and cold sweat. But you have nights like that. And anybody runs a business will tell you the same.
You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. I mean, absolutely, there's accountability included, and it's a done with you program. So there is content, but there's also, well, access to this guy, access to me, and yeah, mastermind full of people trying to get where they want to get to, and yeah, it's awesome. So really gives me a lot of energy, and that's why I wanted to talk about it going into kind of Q4. We're going to have some more kind of client testimonials over the next few weeks, and yeah, just looking forward to seeing everyone's success and celebrating it towards, well, it'll be 17th December. We'll get something announced before the end of the week if I can get an answer from an answer from the event on the venue on somewhere. So on something, beg your pardon. So yeah, if you're sitting on the fence, guys, yeah, don't sit on this. Let's get started. Get booked in a call. Yeah, find out what it's all about.
Can I just draw everybody's attentions to the fact that both Thomas and Claire have identified just how good looking I am? I just want that identified and on record. Thanks for acknowledging that, Lloyd. Any difficulties, constraints, differences?
Tom's clearly been on the margaritas all day.
Well, Claire is teetotal at the moment, so, well, she's sick, probably doped up on painkillers and cold medication. So let me see. Yeah, Christopher, any difficulties, constraints, differences operating in NI versus in the mainland with Brexit, sea border, EU, potential new member? Christopher, I could write a very detailed thesis on the frustrations of trying to operate an Amazon business in the wee Northern Ireland. I tried to place an order today for chocolates with a very large confectionery company. It's like, oh yeah, we don't deliver to Northern Ireland anymore. We're working on it. We'll have it sorted soon. And I'm thinking, going, well, this has obviously been an issue since January, and it's now October, so I'll take soon with a pinch of salt.
I think to kind of answer that, I mean, I'm based in Northern Ireland too, so County Down, Eamonn County Armagh. I mean, my business model is different to Eamonn's, where Eamonn is he runs a warehouse out of Armagh, and I use a prep center in Ipswich. I use WePrep. So I don't know what stage you're at, Chris, if you're just starting or whatever, but if you wanted to start and completely outsource from day one, you could do that. There's less headaches getting stuff from the UK delivered within the UK. There's less headaches, but I still work out of the warehouse. do wholesale. So there's some Irish wholesalers that only deliver to Ireland, and yeah, I still do get some other deliveries that I prep in Northern Ireland. So you can make it work. It's not that, yeah. There's not that many roadblocks.
There isn't, but like with every, it's the best thing about business, like everybody watching this is running their own Amazon business, and I'm sure that there's some of us on the same listens and stuff like that. But there's so many opportunities that when one thing becomes a barrier, a new opportunity opens. Like I put in an order the other day with a big UK supplier, and they sent back invoice for half the order, and I was like, "Where's the rest?" And like, "We can't get it." So I found a local supplier that I didn't think would have the stock, and they're like, "Yeah, we've actually got all of that. We just haven't got it on the internet yet." And they were actually significantly cheaper. And I was like, "Brilliant! I'll take that." Um, yes, there's been issues with pulling returns out of Amazon. Instead, I've sent them to prep centres in the UK. Shipping with Royal Mail, you have to have a business account with them, be setting a certain number of volumes if you want to do FBM. But like with every restraint that has come in, there's still new opportunities. And it's like anything, you make it work, get out what you put in. So if you are only starting out in your business with Amazon, spin up the road. If you're going to come tomorrow. Don't be coming next week. I'm a little bit busy, but come up, have a tour of the warehouse, see what you think, see what I'm doing, and it's proof in the pudding of what I'm at. And like I've had 2-3 sales reps here in the last 2 weeks, and it's one thing to talk a big talk on the phone, but when they're standing in your kitchen and they're standing in your warehouse and they're seeing exactly what you're doing, there's no hiding spaces. And I make no apologies for the volume I'm doing, what I'm at. And I had one of my biggest suppliers at my kitchen today and was like, "What can we do to make your business better?" And the first thing I said was like, "I'd like a line of credit." And then I give them a list of items and I'm like, "Sharpen your pencil." And they're like, "We will do, we'll come back to you." So them relationships take time to build up. And it's the same with anything. You put systems in place, you build relationships. It's not an overnight success. This is not a flash in the pan, nor is it a get rich quick scheme. It is a business. And like anything, it's hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard work is required. Like any support we give doesn't work unless you do. That's it. So yeah, really kind of enjoyed that. There was some good questions, and yeah, someone's just done a bit of purchasing. So
Andre?
Yeah, good man yourself. So yeah, 500 Snoop is pretty good. I'd say 30% ROI. Make yourself £150 in an hour. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we are just going to dip into the private group, do some bits and bobs, some projections and goal setting and things like that, Eamon. So is there anything else you want to cover before the end of live?
I'm curious. I don't want to go into too much detail because I see some people commenting there and I don't want to give out too much of the confidential information. I need to go jump in the pool. Thomas, wear armbands. I'd hate for you to maybe drown or something. That would be terrible. You sicken me. But yeah, looking forward to your Irish visit later in the year. Yeah, thank you. What would I say? Yeah.
Bring a jumper. It's freezing.
Bring 2 jumpers, one for me. Or a nice shirt. What was I going to say? Yeah, what I would say is, yeah, we're going to be going into the members group now and doing some goal setting, some projections and targets for Q4. For those that are sitting saying, "Oh, I'm going to do it on my own," fine. Best of luck to you. I'm still here if you need some help. What I would say is I would echo what Andre said. You're not going to hit a target you're not aiming for. Set yourself a goal, figure out what you need to do weekly and monthly to hit that. And if down the line you think, actually, I could do it to help with this, give me a shout.
Cool. Well, guys, over and out from ourselves. And yeah, have a good one.
Cheers, bye-bye.
Stay cool.